Hello, I'm Scott duPont with another episode of Finance Your Movie, sharing tips and strategies to help you fund your independent documentary, short film, or web series. Our mission is to help empower you to get your money and tell your story. And I'm here today with my good friend Hans Hernke, actor-producer, prolific actor-producer. Hans has produced 55 films to date, and I believe you can verify this, Hans. Over 40 of them, most of them, you raised the money for. But what I think might make this the most important interview I've done to date is 80% of our audience out there that's listening to this podcast, that's on our channel, they're looking to raise money for lower budgeted films under the $250,000 range. They're not looking for $500,000, million, 2 million, 2.5, 5 million. So that's really the niche you're playing. Funny story how you and I met. I don't know if you remember, over 20 years ago, you were on a film I was producing. It was 18 plus hours. And I felt so bad. I brought a cot out for you to sleep on.
Yeah. The bros, right?
So I tried to be nice, even though our director was pushing 18 plus hours. So before we get into it, is that an important lesson to always treat people on the way up just very, very well?
Yeah, absolutely. It all comes down to the morale of everybody on the set too. Is if everyone's treated respectfully and equally, then the morale is just going to improve. The set's going to run smoothly, and you never know what that person that you're working with is going to do later on in life. They might be doing background one day, but then the next day, all of a sudden they land a big co-starring role in a TV series, and then now they're a regular, and you just never know. And there's a lot of people that I've worked with before that we started off doing like PA work and extras and things like that. All of a sudden they're directing and they're producing stuff, and then they're getting me involved and I'm getting them involved. So it all comes down to just keeping a good relationship with those people that you work with and not burning any bridges. And if you do have disagreements, just try to settle it respectfully so you don't burn a bridge,
Absolutely. I know you started out as a young kid with dreams of being an actor, and you've certainly achieved that working with some of the biggest names in all of Hollywood. And here we are in Hollywood. How did you become a prolific producer? How did that path take off?
Well, when I first moved out here in 2002, my sole goal was to just do acting, and I did a lot of background work. And then like it just dawned on me, like I want to try other things in the industry. I want to open up my doors. I want to keep my paths open to other avenues that I could be discovering. So I started getting into casting and being a production assistant in office and watching how producers do their work in there. And I also thought, hey, this would be a good opportunity to network and maybe see if I can get on some of these projects as an actor by saying, hey, if I help you produce and I help you raise some money, would you be able to put me on your project as an actor? So a lot of this started with Stephen Smith from the UK. He's a director, producer I've worked with a lot. He's taken me over to the UK several times to do films with him, and he and I met on AOL chat a long time ago. That's how long it was, when AOL Instant Messenger was a thing before Facebook.
Wow.
I gave him some money to help with his projects, and they were very small budget films, and I just wanted to keep building my producer credits on IMDb. And eventually it got to the point where I said, Steven, I want to go out there and work with you, man. I want to work with you someday. He said, don't worry, I got something down the road we can work on together. So then that opportunity finally came, and he flew me out to London. I got to do the Haunted movie series with him, and then he started bringing me out for all of his other movies. Some of them I've had to miss out on because I've been doing Animal Kingdom and things like that. But So I figured, you know what, this is a good way to get yourself an acting role. Like, you go out there and you audition and you try, but doing the producer side, you get to learn a lot about what goes on behind the scenes to making a movie, and on top of that, you get to be in the film that you are helping finance or produce. So it's a win-win for yourself, and it's a win-win for the people that you're helping out. And I've developed many good relationships with um, people that are doing this now, like the Mahal brothers. They do their movies up in Las Vegas. I've done like 4 films with them now. I'm getting ready to do one with them in July by just helping them out. And they always have a role for me in their films. So it's all about keeping that relationship and keeping that going, you know?
Well, like you said, you have a lot more control of your acting career versus just walking into an audition. A couple weeks later, you might get a call back. You might get a second call back. At the end of the day, it's up to the casting god. So I think that's a pretty good move. So you're based in LA, but where do you shoot most of your films, being that a lot of them are such low budget, some even under $100,000?
Well, I go wherever the production takes me. You know, I've done a few of them here. The last one I did in Orlando, the movie Todd, and my friend Aaron Warren directed it, and his friend Doug Wall, financed almost the whole movie. But I helped raise some money for it, and I was a pretty much hand-on producer on that film. That was all shot locally in Orlando, and shooting in Orlando is really, really fantastic because they're very flexible and very welcoming to filmmakers there. Um, and then Las Vegas is very film friendly, and then the UK, I mean, it's awesome to shoot a film over there. So those are my primary spots that I've shot films before. But I would love to go out to Georgia, New Orleans, or some other places as well to shoot. But those have been my primary spots, and I go wherever the director is from or where the production's being held.
So let's just say you have an Orlando-based director, you're shooting in Orlando, and you have another film where you have a Las Vegas-based director, you're shooting in Las Vegas. Does most of your money come from those areas?
No, they come from all over the place. So basically, for example, what I did for Todd is I would reach out to friends of mine and I would tell them, hey, look, we're offering associate producer credits on the film. Like, if you want to build up your IMDb credits as a producer, I'm offering these credits for X amount of money. But since you're my friend, I'm going to give it to you for this amount of money. So I always use you're my friend, I'm going to cut you a deal, and I'll try to get you in on the film as well. I use that angle, and it works a lot. I also did that for Another Planet from Outer Space when we did that in 29 Palms. People that invest in the project were also in the film as well, and they own a percentage of the film. So yeah, I use that angle to help raise some money, or just if people can't give you like $100 or $200, even if they give you 10 or 20, I always try to make sure they get some sort of IMDb credit for helping out. And I've actually gotten people that have given me money for PA credits on IMDb because people want to build up their PA credits on
Interesting.
IMDb.
I never thought about that, but yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, if you're just starting out, and it's tough just to get in that PA wheelhouse at first, especially when production is booming.
yeah.
Um, so there's this assumption out there. I don't necessarily agree with it, but there are a lot of people say if you do a really, really low micro budget narrative, I'm not talking about a documentary, but a full feature narrative, that if you're making a film for under $100,000, the quality's not going to be there, and you're not getting a distribution deal, and you're probably going to lose money. I mean, how do you answer that? Because some of your movies have been under 250, some have been under 100, and I've seen the quality of your movies.
Um, that is a very good question. It basically all depends on which distribution deal you get, and I know it's getting harder and harder for independent films to get really good distribution deals. For example, this one film that I was involved with had some names in it, and Netflix turned it down. It's like, you would think with these names on board, why would Netflix turn it down? They're getting very picky and choosy with the the films that they take. Even Redbox does the same thing as well. Redbox rejected that film too, and we're just like, whoa, okay. Um, but yeah, for independent films, the distribution deals are getting more difficult. And I always tell people that invest in the films, like, look, I know that you're giving us 1,000 or 3,000. You might not see that money for a long time. You need to realize that. Like, it when the film comes out, I have people, "Well, okay, so where's my money?" That's like the first response is, "Where's my money?" So I have to wait for a quarterly report to come in. Then I show everybody the quarterly report, and then I divvy up how much their percentage was based on what was negotiated under their contract, and I give them their amount. But it's like, it could take, a few years for you to get back that $1,000
Yeah.
plus the profit that you'll make off of it. And I know that that's something that I've learned over time when I've invested in a film. It's like, where's my money? But now that I've been on that side of the person getting bombarded with those questions, I understand now that it does take time to get your money back. And one of the key things is, if you are involved with your movie and you have a stake in it as an actor or a producer, and you have points on the back end, promote the hell out of it. You got to promote the hell out of your movie, because if you don't, and then you get a quarterly report that's $300, $400, and so that could
Common
change
sense.
if you promote your movie, and your checks might be bigger. So it boggles my mind that some of these people that I've worked with on other projects that have a vested interest in the film, and the film turned out wonderful, it's winning awards at festivals and this and that, they only maybe promote it once, and then after that it's just silence. It's like, if you want to make money off your film that you have points on, you got to promote the hell out of it too. You just can't let us do all the work. you know so
Yeah.
that's always appreciated when it's a team effort and everyone's working together. And it goes back to just keeping that bridge together as well, because I know some people that they say, I don't want to work with this person again because they don't promote the project, or I don't want to work with this person anymore because they talk bad about the project publicly.
Yeah,
So
that's a no-no.
yeah.
But one thing I will say about you, Hans, because I've invested just a little bit in some of your films, to any potential investors out there, executive producers, I don't think I've ever met anybody that puts as much energy, passion, and drive behind their finished films as you. And I've seen you at some of the when you're four-walling theatrically, some of your openings. I've seen you put up your own money to hire staff. I've seen you rent cars or vans to get people out to wherever the screening is. So I really applaud you for that. I believe too, there's this stewardship. Whenever you take money from a potential investor, whether it's $500 or $50,000, you need to protect that money and do whatever you can to promote your movie, because they want to see their money back, hopefully.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
applaud you for that. So
Yeah.
next question, where are there certain pockets, whether it's Hollywood or any town USA, where and who do you often get the money from? Like, if you could paint an avatar character of a typical Hans Hernke investor, where would that be? Or is it just all over the place?
It's really all over the place. It's people that I've known for a long time, people I've went to film school with. There's a guy that I went to New York Film Academy with, and he supported my career ever since we went to school. So every project that I've done, he messaged me, "Hey Hans, I'm willing to give you X amount of money for
Wow.
credit on your film." I said, "All right." And I've offered him investing opportunities as well, but he just wants to purchase a credit, and that's fine. And I make sure that they're well taken care of. And every project that I do, it's they come out and they say, "Hey, I want to help you out with your next film. How much is it for a credit?" And they help me out. So they just come from all over the place. But it's mainly people that have seen my work and support what I do that want to keep doing it. It's a blessing, and I'm really thankful for the friends that believed in me a long time ago, and they're still believing in me, and that pushes me further.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey, Hans, we're running up to a little bit of a time crunch here. We need to take a short break. Are you able to come back just for a few more questions?
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And make sure you click on part 2 of this interview. We'll be right back with Hans because he has a very unique, interesting way that he has raised movie money that you don't want to miss. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.